Hey squad, hey, a little review video of last week. I'm going to go fairly quickly. Please stop the video to read through things if I go past a slide quicker than you have time to really take it in. Also to pause if there's something that you need to do in your investigation notebook to minimize how long these videos are and to, yeah, not take up too much time with them. Here are the objectives that we saw on Wednesday. And while I gave the objectives, the warm up after that was for you to finish the getting to know you sheet. I will collect that. You'll get points for that. If you still haven't finished that or gotten that into me, make sure this coming week you do that. And then to finish the investigation notebook setup, because I had posted it so late last week that it didn't give a lot of you time to get that done. So that was on me. And that's what we're going to be all about right now is before getting into the forensics guidelines and getting into some more specifics. I know you've already read through it with your parents and you have just a general idea. I want to hit some important things because it's part of the building and protecting the culture of learning. I wouldn't have wasted paper and your time if I didn't feel honestly that the information in there and how it guides us along in the semester is going to make for a good class. So with that, let me change the view to this right here. And right after the mind games, what we did is I had you guys paste in the first part of the guidelines right here. And after the supplies and the pro tip, this is super important. I've got my little nest right here that I'm doing these recordings and have my workspace, taking the time to have everything here so that you can lock in and focus is really so important to how strong your thinking abilities are getting and how much you are really squeezing the goodness out of the. So um, having a space is really important to put aside the distractions so that you can think deeply and really have it get into your brain, whatever it is that you're working on, forensics in this particular case. But I hope you also use this space for your other courses. So that was the pro tip. We have the supplies list. You have all of those, but it included with the physical supplies, there are also the online supplies. There's the YouTube, the LCA Forensics, where I'll be regularly posting things to extend the goodness in class, also home with you. Then we had the forensics ebook. Nice thing is that we get a physical copy of that as well as an online copy of that. So I had you guys collect your book. And right down here, you made sure to record your number. It's the same number I gave you when we did our seating chart thing. That number will follow you. So it's written right here. It's also written in the upper corner of the, when you open up the cover of that, uh, I gave you as part of the homework a paper bag. Just got it from City Market. You could also get it from Walmart if you didn't get one from me or you forgot to take it home. And using the same skills, book covering skills that you learned by covering your investigation notebook here. The idea is that you will also cover that to keep it nice since it's a brand new book and there will be charges if it's damaged. Yeah, take pride in that. Plus, it's kind of fun. You can still, just like a lot of you have already started decorating the cover of your investigation notebook, you can also do that for your forensics book. Mm. So we've had that. Okay. Mhm. And then we talked about the grading a little bit and the different categories for the grading, how it's broken down. please regularly check your grades so there's no surprises. And I know that if I don't regularly check something, I have a tendency to get a little bit of stress not knowing what's going on. Part of why it's so important to check things is to make sure that teachers like me haven't made a mistake and have forgotten to record something that you turned in. I will regularly be putting in zeros. The zero doesn't mean that you can't turn it into me and get full points for it. A lot of times it's just for me to know that I still haven't gotten that from you and to remind you when you check your grade, oh, I need to get that in. So regularly check your grades. And then we went on to arguably the most important section of the guidelines, which was the classroom's rules and conduct. And this was a statement that came out of the student handbook for Rifle High School for some years ago, and I liked it so much that I made it part of my guidelines, where every student is expected to pursue the educational program and to conduct themselves in such a way that their presence does not detract from their own education or the education of others. Rather than having 10, 20 different rules, I think that so encapsulates how to be a student in class that if you were this way in class, then we wouldn't have to worry about rules being broken or having a whole bunch of different rules. Um, in Rifle High School, I took a lot of time in then explaining what that educational program is. So many students, it was my experience, had a bad, just either didn't know what the educational program was or just thought the educational program was stupid. And it made me realize that nobody really took time to tell them what is this goodness that you're supposed to be getting from your education. So I showed this fun little Mountain Dew clip of this guy going after this cheetah, and man, he's going after it. And the idea was that pursuing, that's what pursuit looks like, to want something that badly that you're going after it with all your mind and your heart and your soul. So I had you guys cut and paste this. I took some time to really think about what is the educational program uh, that what it's providing you, what is it giving you that you now are going to be a better person and be able to enjoy life more because of it. It's worthwhile going after. And we'll be talking about these more throughout the semester. I'll be touching on different ones of them. So that's what the cheetah represented, as well as the education, these things from your educational program. You're also going to be getting all the forensics goodness and learning about forensics. And that's why we had this page where you will write that out, and not only the main units, but what are the chapters and things from our textbook that fit within those. But this being you right here, the whole idea was, paste this in, you draw a line down here. That's you, right? Me. Okay. And so the question hopefully is the logical or the Socratic question would be, okay, I see what this guy did to go after the cheetah, but how does that translate to me going after forensics or any of my education this semester? How do I behave? What does it look like? So right here, see the behavior of pursuing one's education. Mine was on page 9 because after we did the forensic syllabus, we put this other part of those that conduct here. Which talks about how great class can be when students are really pursuing their education. And we set this up with the behavior of pursuing, and pursuing behavior really breaks down into these 8 different areas. And I had you guys paste them in. The order didn't matter as long as you were putting the attitude first. And then I told you also to leave some space afterwards so that, and I'll explain what that's for later. So we did that. Um, so let me talk about that a little bit. Um, Part of why this is here is a lot of people think that uh, good things just happen to some people and bad things don't. Or, man, it must be nice to get an A in class. Or, man, it must be nice to be good at a sport or good at something, have some skill. And they don't realize that how good they are is directly related to how much effort they put into it. And this was given by a college professor, and it was really called the behavior of grades. And this was, if you wanted to get an A, don't just be bitter when you don't get an A. Have an honest self assessment of, was my attitude A worthy? Was my attendance A worthy? Was my curiosity, my time commitment, my communication, my ability A worthy? And if not, then hopefully you'll start to understand that you get what you earn in life. It's not just I come into the classroom, I just take up a space, and then I'm all bitter or frustrated or angry that I didn't get an A. And I think the culture we live in where things come too easily rather than working hard to earn things. So instead of just putting the behavior of grades, I put the behavior of pursuing your education. It fits the same way. If you want to get the most out of your education, you should be doing everything that's to the far left. If you just want to be average, an average student in the middle, if you want to do less and then later on, you can't complain that I didn't get a good education because you were probably in this category. So the goal was for all of us to do a self-assessment. And attitude really fits with each of these categories. If you have a good attitude, you're probably going to be more to the left in these categories. If you have a poor attitude, it's going to be probably more to the right. So that's why I started with this top one. But the goal here is to assess yourself. Take your highlighter, or you can even just put a star. And let's say you say, you know what, I seldom, I'll do something when somebody tells me to do it, but showing initiative, I'll never take it up on my own. One of the things my parents always taught me and makes me think of showing initiative was if you see something needs to be done, do it. Don't wait to say, oh, could you pick up that piece of paper on the floor? Or, oh, could you put the books back neatly? You see what needs to be done. You don't just leave things for someone else to do. You're always looking for how do I help out and how do I make things better. But if this is where you're at right now, okay, that's an honest assessment. Attendance, where are you at? Never miss class. Commitment to class resembles that of their professor, meaning that you're always there and you're as excited to be in class. Well, you don't have to be as excited to be in class as I am, but your attendance reflects me. I'm there. I feel the responsibility. I'm carrying us through this adventure or guiding us through this adventure. And are you showing that same kind of desire to be there? So for each one of these, you're going to be highlighting honestly where you think you're at. And how are you going to get better unless you honestly look at where you're at the moment? And then the next question becomes, what what is a small little goal to that I can do, something small. Do it a baby step. It's better that it's something small and that you do it than you make this big elaborate goal and look at all my great goals I have, but then you never follow through with them. What's one or two things that I can do between now and the end of the semester to move myself more to the left side to become better at being a student? And you're going to do that for each one of these. And so here, when you're thinking of a goal, it's always a good idea to think about, make them SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-based. So that's what I want you guys to do is with that, and you can pause this to look and remember that or take a screenshot of it. But if my attitude is so-so and I want to show initiative, I want to do more work than's required. How do I need to live my life in a way that that's going to be a reality for my attitude? Um, the same with attendance. So don't just think about it in terms of what can I do in class. You might have to reorganize your life in a certain way that will enable you to have that pursuing behavior when it comes to your education. So, how much sleep are you getting? Do you recognize that maybe you don't show initiative because I'm so tired all the time? Maybe I'm overcommitted. I'm doing too many things. So, because I'm doing too many things, I can't put in the time and show the initiative and do more with my classes than I should be doing. And that's part of growing up, and I'm still figuring that out as an adult, is what's too much for me to handle. So we're constantly, what's important is that we reflect on our lives so that we can see the reality of how we're living at the moment and what needs to change. Remember, our goal is to enjoy the peace and joy that God has for us. And so, how am I thinking? How am I living? What am I believing is true that's not true, that's getting in the way of that, and having that life that fits with this left side, um, I strongly believe is going to add to the enjoyment of your classes, the enjoyment of your education, because you're going to be getting more out of it. Yeah, so that was your homework. The only other thing we did then was to attendance. Let me go through attendance really quick right here. You all have that 150 points for the attendance. But the thing that I think is so important when it comes to attendance is this line down here. In the event of an absence, every effort should be made to complete work missed during the absence. And in order to do that, you need to have a plan. Let's say you miss class. I'm going to do my part in trying to post the videos and to be there during my office hours to help in case you have any questions. But while you're at home, what do I do to get caught up? Because one of the things that always frustrates me is students trying to get caught up during class, but then when they do that, they're missing the new material I'm giving to them. So you want to hit the ground running and not feel like you're being left behind because you aren't familiar with or haven't done the work leading up to each and every class. Maybe that means, so what is your, so the whole idea is have a plan and what's yours. And that's where I give you a space right here to just reflect on that. If I'm absent, um, can I, do I have a phone number of someone else in class? Like I'm going to give, I don't know, um, Maddie. I'm going to call Maddie and ask her, hey, what did we do in class today? Maybe you live close, you know, somebody lives close by you, and you can ask them, hey, can you pick up the worksheets, any worksheets that Mr. Osili gave, and bring those to me, so that I can paste them in or do the work for it. If you can't come in to actually get the worksheet, what you can do is have somebody in class take a picture of something like when we did back here, when we were doing the mind games thing. Maybe you weren't there to get these, but you could have them take a picture of this so that you could read it. You know what the case was about, so you could even look it up online, and have them take a picture of this so that you would then leave this page blank. This you could, then just write out the questions and then answer them. You're good to go. You don't need to wait and then make the day you come back to school so hectic, because now you're trying to get these and paste these in and do the work. And then you can always go back later and get these handouts and do that. But you know ahead of time how I need to leave my notebook and what I can do at home, so that I'm as caught up as possible for that. And then I'll also have the handouts in a certain place in the classroom that you can go and get those, or always come to me and say, Mr. Osili, where are those? Okay. So that's the big thing that I really wanted to emphasize with the attendance. Also, if you're absent, sometimes when I check an assignment, and again, if I put in a 0, don't be stressed. It's just to remind me and to remind you that you've got to get that in. And I will then put that grade in when you get me the work. So make sure you really understand this well. The help times, conflict resolution, I don't think we'll have much problems with that. Although, man, that brain gym time, Miss Hendrickson really sold me on how good that brain gym time is. So, but don't misbehave just so you can do brain gym with Miss Joe. Okay. Um, this is super important. I recognize we all have bad days. Let me know what's going on with you. Maybe you're like, Mr. Osili, can I just sit in the lab and work quietly for a little bit? And, you know, I'll get caught back up on the work, but I just need that time to myself. So that's good to know. And I love this quote by C.S. Lewis: the purpose of education to teach us to love what is beautiful and to express that beauty in words that glorifies God. C.S. Lewis. So yeah, I hope that helps with the attitude when we're have a tendency to feel like education is something that's being done to us, is that we have this gift of life God has given us, and all the abilities. We have the freedom to know that we're justified and made right in God's sight through what Jesus did on the cross, to take this pressure of, oh, I've got to be perfect. I've got to, but as Luther said, now that you know that you're free to obey, what do you want to do? I want to obey. I want to please God. I want to have Him delight in um, what I now am doing. And isn't that really what worship is about? Is worshiping God through your life by thanking Him, by doing the most and taking the most advantage of all the things that He's given you. Um, so with that, that's the little bit of a review. Always more long-winded than I want it to be. Hopefully, as I get more comfortable talking to a computer screen, they'll get shorter. But I will post this, and then now get on to the lesson and the setup for Monday. Go Squad, go Squad, go.